Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, if you kind of connect to someone, like you don't want to rush and try and like go for the attack, go for the submission, go for the transition to a different position like straight away, because you want to secure it, tie them out a little bit, wait until that move becomes a high percentage. It might be a high percentage move anyway, but once they're a little bit, they've lost the will to resist, it's going to become a higher percentage, even if it's only by a couple of reps. So the first thing I'm going to do is when we get to the first, is you want to control them, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go under the head. Sorry, that's the way to get it. And I go under the far side arm. I'm going to connect my hands together, palm to palm, no thumbs. Okay? Now, I'll try not to switch that here. I'm going to put my right leg out kind of straight, and I'm going to sag my hip. I'm going to do the ball of my foot, I sag my hip, so I'm here. And my other leg, might be on the back, my other leg is like an outrigger. Okay, so I'm here. Now what I do is I don't want to be like here, over the top of the person, because that's bad, right? It's not that bad. But here, exactly. Much worse. I don't do it very often, but you have to put full pressure on some of the time. So you see, the first time I'm kind of like I'm cupping over the top of the person, and like most of my weight is kind of over the shoulder. What I want to do is kind of connect to this side of the body and push through, almost like I'm surfing through. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's look at that position again. Under the head, under the arm. Connect your hands palm to palm. Okay, no thumbs up. I can connect the body first, so I want to I'm here, just take a little way forward. Straighten this leg, sag the hip. This one acts as an outrigger. Okay? Now, what's there? I'm taking a bit more weight than I like now. What's Claire going to do? She might just try and push on my shoulder, push on my hip, and just try and lift me up. She's bench pressing me away. Not going to work, I'm connected to her. She's going to try and lift the hips up and push them to the top right. Not going to work because of this thing. Okay? So that's kind of it's not the only thing they're going to do, but that's probably the cool thing. Get away from me, that's not going to work, they're going to try and roll towards you. Not going to work. And that's without really me having to do anything, that's just me holding the position. We're going to look at some other options, like what they might do and how you might deal with it, but let's do that one first. Okay. Any questions? Okay, let's go. 3, 2, 1. So look, one little point that we didn't talk about before, which way up your hands, okay? If I do this, and I've had my knees until I don't switch down completely, if I do this and I kind of switch, that's a bit annoying on the neck, right? Much worse. Okay? So look, if I was wearing my watch on my left hand, left wrist, don't wear it on my hands. If I was wearing my watch on my left wrist, because I should be able to check the time while I'm inside control. Okay? Unless you're one of those weird people that wears it on the inside of your wrist.
Got it on my right.
Are you left-handed or right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
So there you go. Makes sense, right? She wears a watch on the wrong hand. Okay, off topic. Okay, so look, let's look at this. So Claire can either push me, like bench press me away, doesn't work. She can try and, yes, doesn't work. So she can just, next thing she does, she kind of turn the whole body towards me, like trying to roll like a log towards me. From here, look, just hug tighter. She just doesn't want to do it, you know. And then she rolls away, so she tries to roll towards everyone else, and put my hand down. Okay? But notice the other thing I'm doing here is I'm just moving back slightly. Okay? If I stay here and she continues to roll, I can get, she can still move me a little bit. If I'm here, she rolls away.
That's right.
Go away. Not working because I'm not in the position. I'm not connected to the mass of her body anymore. Okay. So what I'm doing is, this is like a stabiliser at that point, and this one, look, I just extend both arms slightly. That chucks my weight back to the outside edge. Okay. And that means my weight slightly further back. I'm no longer kind of connected to the like imagine the front of the body is kind of like just a front of a side of a rectangle. I'm not connected to that anymore. I'm kind of on the edge now. It makes it much harder for her to roll. Okay? So watch, there's two options. Turn towards me, a hug. She doesn't want to roll towards me anymore because I was away. She comes back. Back to my first position. Make sense? Any questions? Wunderbar. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. Okay guys, so the next thing they might want to try and do is to try and turn this knee to the side and try and get it in between you and them, okay? That doesn't necessarily rely on someone knowing jiu-jitsu, that's just chance, because there is a gap there, because you've got your leg extended, your hip it's sagging, but it's slightly off the floor, okay? So there is an opportunity for this knee to get in between you. Okay? So look, Claire has to turn and put the outside of her leg on the floor to make that happen, otherwise it's going to go in. So if I'm here, she's got to drop that right into the floor, all I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit my hip through. Okay, so I'm sitting on the outside of my right hip, still got my left leg based up, I just keep my head out of the way, I don't want to cut any eye. And I'm here. Okay, this isn't quite as much pressure, but it's very difficult because my butt's in the way for her to get her knee between me and the floor. Okay? Then when she starts to go back up to her back a little bit more, I can just step the foot over and come back to this first position. Okay, she turns, puts that knee in. Okay. Okay? She relaxes. I can come back over. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
Super, super simple. Let's give it a go. 3, 2, 1. So look, through here. Try and get the weight on the little. There's not too much I can do to kind of get a submission or whatever. I can transition. I can't really submit with my hand under the head. Okay? And ultimately, like any time I grab Claire's head, I'm now giving her a handle for this arm. But I might not be able to get this arm back. But while the person's scratching around, I think I'll take that risk. Okay? But look, if I go here and she's trying to do all those things which wasn't working, then I go, and I get that little side of defeat, and she goes, oh, go on, go. Exactly, side of defeat. Okay? I bring my knees in here. Okay? My weight is on my knees now more. That takes my weight off of my hands. I'm doing this one, bring it around. Use my right hand cup, roll her up, and just put my hand down the back. She's wearing a belt, grab the belt. If she's not, just put your hand down the back and I can compress with you. Now this isn't a submission, well it can be actually, Pedro does it to you, but for the most part this is just a position, and it's not the only position when both hands are across. It's just a good thing we can do for this drill, okay? Because now look, both my hands are available on this side and ready to attack this arm when the time is right, okay? But it's an exercise in moving between the two positions. Understanding that it's really hard to move your hands when your feet are out as base as they were before. So look, get into the go here. Look, doesn't really work, okay? Go here, here, bring this around, roll her up, and I can flatten her back out until if I want to be nasty, sink into my hips. Does it make sense? Key point, guys, with my feet, if you just do like 90 degrees here. When I have my knees in, I want my feet in active toes. Okay? So like if I'm like here, I want the active toes, or frog feet, I don't think I'll manage it, but active toes, okay? Because if I'm like this, my base is very bad in this direction, I'm going to get rolled over. Well, I might get rolled over and I don't want to run the risk. With active toes, that is almost impossible to get rolled off in that direction. Okay? So any time your knees are in, you want that active toes. Does that make sense? Okay? Let's give it a go. Just move between that holding position and that more attacking position. 3, 2, 1. If we're in this position, I'm here, or I might just have my hands out, maybe on the side and actually go over here. Right, go for this. Now, what I can do from here a little bit differently and a little bit more easily is if Claire now tries to get her leg in, so try and turn it to get that right leg back underneath it again. I could go back to what we were doing when I hugged the neck and turn it over. Because my hands are undone, it's a little bit easier for me to turn the other way. Okay? So as that knee comes in, look, I can take my legs out this way. And I block the hip here. Okay? Now notice now, if Claire lifts her hips up to try and bridge, I'm on the fulcrum, I don't get moved. It's not a matter of strength, I'm just not in the position that she can move me. If I'm here, now just bridge up really. See how now I have that move. If I sit on her shoulder line, and she lifts, she can do that all day, it doesn't make any difference. Okay. Now from here, I can have this hand here, I can have knee, I can have it right down under here. That doesn't make as much odds. But look, it's almost like that move when we kind of little green army manned ourselves back from the first position, right? So I'm here. This one, when I say hand by the hip, that kind of grab. In this case, I'm just putting my hand to the floor, because now if Claire turns and tries to get that right knee in between us, she can't get through my arm without really having to adjust. Okay? But look at my feet also, it's the same as that first position, but my hips are switched. Okay? So before I was kind of like here with my feet. Now I'm going to be just this. It looks like my feet have moved a lot, but they haven't really. I've just switched the position, and my angle's kind of gone from this to this, with very little movement of, like, say, my toes. But my feet have just switched position. So I'm here. Now look, if you then just relax it back until that, which is already done, I can come back to here. Or, for one, I can go back to the first position. Does it make sense? Okay? If I'm connected up like this, you can undo and you can take this arm around, because you don't want this hand on this side, you really want it on the far side. There's nothing to say you can't go from that first position to the third position, but it's definitely easier from the second one. So if the person tries to get their leg in from that first one, I'm probably going to sit through. If my hands are detaching on the other side, I'm probably going to do this and go to this modified position. This is quite nice when you finish like a guard pass, you know, because the main time that someone's going to recompose their guard is just as you finish the guard pass, because that's when you're not quite in your definite control position. That's when they're going to try and get that knee back in. So if you always aim to kind of either control the leg, make sure they can't turn them towards you and get your guard, or if that's not really going to work for the guard pass you're doing, it's just make sure you're out of the way. So as you pass, you end up in this position. And then you can take like a fraction of a second to kind of realise where you are and adjust accordingly. Either go back to a stronger side control position, or maybe transition straight to a different place. Make sense? I know it's kind of a little bit tangential. So watch it one more time. So let's assume, guys, that we're doing this position. Hair starts to turn in towards me. I just back away. I adjust my base and I just back away. Okay? Make sense? Okay. Give it a go. 3, 2, 1.